Yes, students. So we were in module 2. Okay. So we had looked into job analysis, the process of job analysis. I hope I'm audible. Can you hear me, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here, basically, we had come to the second part of module 2, that is the human resource planning. Okay. So here we had seen the in content 2 of module 2 you have importance of human resource planning. Okay, so manpower planning to HR planning, factors affecting HR planning, benefits of HR planning, the process of HR planning, tools of demand forecasting, attributes of an effective HR planning, barriers to HR planning, and challenges for HR planning. Okay, so here basically when we speak about human resource planning, it is the business process. Okay, it is a business process or a continuous process, okay, which ensures that an organization has suitable access to talent and also ensures future business success. Okay, so here planning in general involves determining the future course of action, okay, under given circumstances. Similarly, human resource planning involves making future plans for manpower, okay, visualizing the kind and number of personnels possessing specified skills and knowledge required at different times, determining the possible source of supply of required manpower, preparing training and development plans, working out programs for effective use of human resource, and so on. So all this include the human resource planning. So basically it is a planning which is being made for the future, okay, wherein you will be making the future plans for manpower, okay, requirement of the manpower, then afterwards placing the manpower, visualizing the kind and number of personals possessing specified skills and knowledge required at different times, at what time these people are required, determining various sources of supply from where you will be getting the manpower, and also preparing for training and development plans, okay, and working out programs for effective use of human resource. So whatever human resource is there in the organization, it should be used in a very effective way. So that is the main task of human resource planning. Okay, so according to Gessler, manpower planning, okay, or HR, human resource planning is usually called the process which is a continuous process, okay, and which includes forecasting, developing, and controlling. So these are three main things in human resource planning. One is you forecast the requirement of manpower, you develop various plans to fulfill that particular need of manpower, and then probably you will be also controlling the manpower within the organization. Okay, so there should not be excess of manpower within the organization. So here the main thing is the firm ensures that it has the right number of people at the right kind of people, right number of people at the right place in the right time, doing the right things, and look into the economical aspect of it. Okay, so this is all about the human resource planning. Fine. So moving on to the need for human resource planning, right? So when you speak about the need for human resource planning, the pace at which the changes are occurring in 21st century has made the business environment of the organization very complex, okay, and dynamic as compared to what it used to be in decades and to earlier. Okay, some people have even questioned whether it is possible for organization to develop future business plans when so many unexpected changes are happening. So that is one of the question which is being asked. Okay, so here, my dear students, when we speak about, I hope some students want to join in. Okay, so basically, when we speak about human resource planning, okay, in 21st century, with the wink of an eye, you have lot of changes which are happening, right? So every now and then will be changes which will be happening, and with those unexpected changes which are happening in the present age of discontinuous change. Okay, so here, lot of changes are happening, unexpected changes may happen. Okay, with all this changing pace, whether it is possible for the human resource planning to be put forth in a right way. Okay, so here basically no matter what some people may say, planning may remain very critical. So it becomes a very critical aspect of HR department, human resource planning, Okay, you have to go for day-to-day planning, you have to go for months together planning, you have to go for years together planning. Okay, so here accommodating all the changes which are happening in the environment, maybe internal or external environment, you have to see to it that you keep the right person, okay, a right person in the right place at the right time, okay, doing the right thing. All this becomes very challenging and demanding. Okay, and a better expertise is required for doing all this planning and all those things, right? So since all the changes in the business environment have implications for human resource management, human resource planning assumes added significance. So here, when we speak about the human resource planning, it has added significance. Okay. So here, when let us move on to the needs of human resource planning, why it is very much required in a business world, in spite of all the changes which are happening. One is basically it helps in detailing the number and kind of personnel required for carrying out operations. Okay, so it helps in detailing what kind of personnel is required, how much in number they are required for carrying out the operations or rendering services, or also conducting the businesses in the organization. Okay, it spells out the qualifications, skills, expertise, knowledge, experience, physical abilities, occupation groups, and so on of personnel required in the organization. Okay, so it gives right detailing about the qualification, the skill, the expertise, the knowledge, experience, and physical abilities which are required in the organization at that particular present time. Okay. Apart from that, it gives adequate lead time. Okay, so here basically it gives adequate lead time for the functions like recruitment, selection, training, and development. So if you are understanding what would be the requirement of manpower in future, you have adequate lead time to recruit people, right people on the right job, select the right personnel, train and develop of personnels. Okay, so apart from that, it also train and develop of personnel, in the sense like if you are not in a position to recruit or spend on recruitment, and you have adequate manpower in your organization whom you can train, multi-skill them, and see to it that they better perform in the organization. Okay, if that is the case, probably you have to go for training and development of the personnel, because it anticipates the need of various types of skills required and level of personals well in advance. Okay, so that is one of the need when it comes to um, the need for human resource planning. Okay, apart from that, it can be a very effective in reducing the cost of production. Okay, so it is very effective in reducing the cost of production. Okay, so when we speak about the cost of production, my dear students, when you have the right person, let me in. Okay, right. Okay, so here am I audible, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So here, my dear students, when it comes to the adequate lead time, okay, for recruitment, selection, training, and development of the personnel, it anticipates the need for various types of skills required, various levels of personnel required well in advance, so that you have adequate time to recruit, select, okay, and train and develop the personnels, right? So it can be also effective in reducing the cost of production, as through it the labor can be effectively controlled and utilized, so there will be no surplus of labor within the organization, and you whatever labor is there, you are going to utilize them to the fullest extent with this human resource planning. Okay, so that is one of the need for human resource planning. Apart from that, it is essential for meeting the fresh demands of personnel caused due to business growth or expansion of the organization. Okay, so when your organization is expanding, or maybe certain acquisitions or mergers, or certain developments happen in the organization, so whatever fresh demands of personnel is there, it can be met immediately if you have proper HR planning in hand. Okay, now moving on to the next one, there may be a need for appointing new hands from external sources, or for imparting vigorous training in the case of drastic technological change. Such problems can be easily tackled when you have the human resource planning in hand. Okay, so it is very much essential when it comes to appointing new hands or from external sources, or for imparting vigorous training in the um, case of drastic technological change. So tra- training the employees on the new technology which has come in. Okay, and also giving better opportunities for the new hands to come in the organization. Okay, such problems can easily be tackled. Right, again, ma'am, let me in. Okay, so basically, all these are various needs of human resource planning, why it is required. Okay, obviously, it also helps individual in improving his or her education, knowledge, skill, and concepts, and utilize the capabilities and potentials to the best possible manner. Okay, so here basically it also helps in internal succession. Okay, so here who is going to take particular position once the person leaves the organization? That succession planning can be easily done. Okay, so the sudden turnover of a personnel is being captured because of that. Okay, so that's what we say, these are the various needs of human resource planning. Okay. Moving on to the objectives of human resource planning. First objective is to recruit and retain the human resource of required quality and quantity. So obviously, when you know what is the strategy of the organization, what are the processes of the organization, what is the production planning of the organization, immediately you can identify the need of manpower within the organization and plan for human resource, right? And because of that, what happens is you can recruit and retain the human resource in the organization in a required quality as well as quantity. Okay, so that is one of the objective of human resource planning. Second is to foresee employee turnover and make arrangements for minimizing turnover and filling up of consequent vacancies. Okay, so here when we speak about the objectives of human resource planning, you foresee, okay, you understand what is the employee turnover in future, and you try to make arrangements to minimize the turnover in the sense people leaving your organization. You can foresee immediately the people leaving your organization, these many people may leave your organization, and immediately you can go in for minimizing the turnover. You can minimize it, you cannot fully make it come to zero, but only you can minimize the turnover and fill up the consequent vacancies. Probably you may understand which are the vacancies which might be arising, who are the people who will be really leaving the organization, and immediately you can go for giving in consequent filling in the consequent vacancies whichever arise. Okay, as well as the next objective of human resource planning is to meet the need of programs of expansion diversification. So what you can do is you can meet the needs of the programs. If there is an expansion program or diversification program or mergers, acquisitions, etc., etc., etc. So whatever changes which happen in the organization, you can meet the need of human resource of those programs when you have proper HR planning in hand. Okay. Apart from that, foresee impact of technology. Okay, one of the objective of human resource planning is understand what would be the changes in the technology in future, foresee that particular changes in the technology and how it will impact in your organization, basically on work, and how the existing employees may coordinate with each other, cooperate with each other, as well as accept this particular change positively, and understand what would be future HR requirements, human resource requirements which may arise. Okay, certain times if you bring some new technology and the existing employees are not enough doesn't have any capability basically to be trained for that particular technology, then that time you have to recruit new manpower who will be trained enough to work on those technologies, right? So all these are various objectives of human resource planning. Apart from that, improve standards, skills, knowledge, ability, discipline, etc. For everything the human resource planning is required. If you have proper planning of human resource in your organization, you can have a right standard in your organization. You have the benchmark being set in the organization because you have capable and competent people in your organization. You have recruited capable and competent people in your organization, and you have given proper job to them, you have put them in the right place. Okay, as well as you have the skill sets which are there in the organization of the human in your organization, and knowledge and ability, discipline, everything you can be maintaining easily when you have proper HR planning, right? Then access surplus or shortage of human resource and take measures accordingly. Certain times, my dear students, it may happen that there may be surplus of human resource in your organization, or there may be shortage of human resource in the organization. Okay, so you foresee that shortage, you foresee that surplus, and then try to take proper measures accordingly to combat with this surplus as well as shortage.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes,
Ma'am,
student. Yeah, tell me.
ma'am, like Purnima is waiting.
Purnima is waiting. Purnima is there? I don't think so. Purnima, join again. Yes, students, let me move on with the class. Okay. Right. So here, my dear students, basically it minimizes imbalance. Right. Just Namrata Jain. Purnima is not joining. I don't know. Fine. So here, basically, to access the shortage and surplus of human resource and take measures accordingly. Okay. And then maintain congenial industrial relations by maintaining optimum level. Okay. And structures of human resource. Right. So here, industrial relation will be maintained in a proper way if you have optimum level of human resource in your organization, as well as you maintain a proper structure of human resource in organization. When you utilize the human resource in a proper way, so that time you will be getting better performance, which leads to better profitability of the organization. Obviously, you will have a better standard of living of the employees in your organization. You can pay a better salary to the employees in your organization, which obviously maintains the relationship between the employer and the employee, right? And then minimize imbalance due to non-availability of human resource, right? So if there is any imbalance due to non-availability of resource, that time you can minimize the imbalance which is being created. Okay. I don't know what is the message. Ma'am, it's showing you're already on a call. Purnima, I ask her to please join once again someone. Okay. Shubham Jogdani. Right. So here what happens is it minimizes the imbalance due to non-availability of human resource. Okay. So make best use of HR and estimated cost. Fine. So here basically what happens is it makes best use of HR and estimated cost, right? And you can utilize, you can have be very much understanding that cost of the organization is the first priority of human resource manager, right? So when you are planning for human resource, you can plan it in a very economical way, wherein you do not waste the financial resources whatever are there, as well as waste the human resources whatever are there. So you use the best use, you make the best use of human resource, as well as you have best estimated cost, okay, for training and development of human resource, succession planning, career planning, as well as recruitment of human resource. Okay. So all these are various objectives of human resource planning, right? Moving on to the importance of manpower planning. Right. So here, when we speak about the importance of manpower planning, so here first importance of manpower planning is it is a key to managerial functions. Okay. So planning, manpower planning is one of the key to managerial functions. So planning the managerial functions such as planning, organizing, directing, controlling, okay, are entirely based upon the manpower. Okay. So if you have proper manpower in your hand, then only you can plan, organize, direct, control. Okay. So human resource basically helps in implementing all these managerial activities. Therefore, staffing becomes a key to all managerial functions. So you staffing is really a very important key when it comes to all the managerial functions. When you have staffing practices in a right way, that means putting the right person in the right job at the right time. So if that is being done, then you can have this all managerial functions performed in a right way. So that's a key to managerial functions. Apart from that, efficient utilization. Okay. So here efficient management of personals become an important function in the industrialization world today. Setting a large scale enterprises requires management of large scale manpower, so it can be effectively done through staffing functions, right? So here basically when you speak about manpower planning here, or human resource planning if you could say, okay, so here it is very much important that you have proper staffing practices in your organization. If that is being done, if you have proper planning practices in your organization, you can maintain, okay, the level of human resource in your organization, as well as you can utilize the human resource in a very effective way. Okay, that is the main importance of manpower planning. Apart from that, motivation. So staffing function not only includes putting right men at the right job, but it also comprises of motivational programs. Okay, so incentive plans. Okay, then afterwards commissions and all those things. So these are the motivation, monetary motivation, which is being provided to the employees. Okay, and all types of incentive plans become an integral part of staffing functions. Okay, so when you're going for manpower planning or human resource planning, that time motivation plays a very important role. Okay, because you motivate the employees, put them in the right job, give them the right resources, and then see to it that they perform well in the organization. Okay, so better human relations, that is one of the importance of manpower planning. Okay, so here it stabilizes itself if human relations develop and are strong. So human relations become strong through effective control, clear communication, effective supervision, and leadership in a concern. So when you are placing the right person in the right job, so that time what happens is you have but happy employees in your organization, and the organization uh, wherein if you have happy employees in your organization, obviously the relationship within the organization between the employees as well as the managers or subordinates, it becomes very easy for everyone to communicate with each other, build strong relationships. Okay, that is one of the importance of manpower planning. Apart from the higher productivity, obviously productivity level will increase when resources are utilized in a best possible way. Okay, as well you have to also plan for proper training of the staff. Okay, and you have to see to it that the employees, okay, have proper plans, proper resources in hand, are put in a right job, and they produce better. Okay, and they give higher productivity, which is again the result of minimum wastage of time. So that higher productivity can be achieved only when you have a minimum wastage of time, money, efforts, and energies. Okay, so that can be done if you have proper planning of human resource in your hand, and if you have proper staffing strategies. So this is possible for staffing and its related activities. Okay, now moving on to the linkage of HR plan to corporate plan. So in creating an HR plan, human resource plan, it is to be ensured that it is an integral part of corporate plan. Fine, so that is one thing which you need to put into consideration. So whatever human resource planning you do in your organization, it is an integral part of corporate plan. So it has to mesh with plans in other sorry, other functional areas. Okay, so in other words, it should be both vertically fit as well as horizontally fit. After all, any organization basically requires manpower for achieving its corporate objectives. Okay, so this particular thing, linking HR plans to corporate plans here, right? So here, whatever HR planning you are doing, you have to link it with the corporate plans. That is one of the key factor here. Apart from that, you have to link it with other plans also. That is financial plan, production plan, and marketing plan. So marketing, production, finance, as well as corporate plan, everything you have to take into consideration, and then you have to go for your HR planning. Okay. So here HR planning is first you will be going for forecasting, then recruiting, then training. Okay, whether you will go for forecasting of manpower, whether you will go for recruitment of manpower, okay, and whether you will go for training the present manpower. If you are going to train, whom you are going to train, when you are going to train, and how you are going to train, that also is to be planned. So that's what we say, linking HR plan to corporate plans. Okay. So here everything, whatever you do in human resource planning, it may be forecasting, recruiting, training the employees, everything is dependable on corporate plans. Okay. Based on the corporate plans, the financial plans will be made, production plan will be made, as well as marketing plan will be made. So HR, when we speak about human resource planning, it takes into consideration corporate plan, financial plan, production plan, as well as marketing plan. Okay, so that's what we say, linking HR plan with the corporate plan. Okay, now moving on to the process of human resource planning. The process of human resource planning, my dear students. The first process of human resource planning is environmental scanning. Okay, so environmental scanning is nothing but it is a first step of the process of human resource planning. So, in order to have HR plan, the external environment, which basically comprises of economical factors, labor factors, technological changes, demographic trends, social, cultural, political factors, and so on must be truly studied and closely monitored. So it is essential to scan changes in the external environment and align the business of the organization and HR plans with the environmental demands. Okay, so you have to go in for scanning the external environment, align it with business objectives, the strategies of the organization, the HR plans of the organization, and understand the environmental demands. That is the first process of human resource planning, that is environmental scanning. Okay, then you have the second process of human resource planning, that is laying down objectives of HRP, that is human resource planning. So here, when it comes to laying down the most common objectives of human resource planning, okay, are basically as follows, right? So first is making correct estimate of manpower requirement. When you are going to lay the objectives of human resource planning, first objective would be making correct estimation of manpower requirements. Okay, so and in order to make correct estimation of manpower requirement, it is essential to understand what would be the labor turnover percentage in your organization in coming years, okay, in our coming few months. What would be the resignation percentage, retirement percentage, dismissals, promotions, transfers, okay, then technological changes or deaths of employees, and so on. Whatever common happenings are there, that are to be analyzed first, okay, that are to be forecasted and understood what would be the percentage of reduction of manpower in the organization, and then you go for estimating that this is the manpower requirement. Okay, then afterwards, when it comes to laying down objectives of human resource planning, second one is making a sound recruitment and selection policy. Once you have understood that this would be the manpower requirement in your organization, you also know when this manpower is required, in which month, in which year, or whatever it is. Right. So you make sound recruitment and selection policies so that you fill the position right, in the right time. Okay. And also make sound training and development policies also. If you are not in a position wherein you can recruit the manpower, or if you have already the manpower who is very efficient enough, they can be trained and they can be given multi-skilling tasks. So that time you have train for training and development policies of your employees also. Okay, so a properly trained and developed employee is very much a boon for the organization, right? Apart from that, managing the manpower according to the requirement of the organization. Once you lay down and once you make the estimate, once you go for recruitment and selection, once you go for training and development, then maintaining the human resource is very very important. Managing the manpower, okay, according to whatever requirements are there of the organization, on daily basis it is being checked. Then you go for maintaining the production level, maintain good human and industrial relations, getting information about manner in which existing personnel are deployed, then go in for making proper and effective use of existing manpower. So here you are going to utilize the existing manpower. So human resource planning offers an inventory of existing employees to the organization by skill, qualification, okay, and then expertise level, training, salary, and so on. So it will therefore be possible to utilize existing personnel more productivity in relation to job requirements before going to for additional manpower. So everything is being checked before going for additional manpower, and then based on that, um, you can go in for understanding what would be the requirement of manpower, and based on that you can lay in the objectives of human resource planning. Okay, Purnima, I think there is a problem with Purnima. Just a minute. Purnima is already in. Purnima, you are in. Ma'am, it is showing like this. I don't. Can anyone help Purnima, please? Just look in and go in for helping her. Okay, then moving on to the next one, that is getting involved basically into the business plan. Okay, so having determined the objectives of the organization, so next important step in the process of human resource planning is getting involved in the business plan. Okay, that is to arrive the scale of business activities over the period of time, to be able to estimate the structure and size of organization over a period of time. So this is to be done keeping in view all the factors of internal and external environment. So here internal environment and external environment is to be taken into consideration, and based on that the business plans are being made, and based on the business plans the human resource processing, human resource planning is being made. Okay, so apart from that you have forecasting future HR requirements, and this is the main step when it comes to process of human resource planning. Okay, so here when we speak about the process of human resource planning, first when it comes to forecasting future HR requirements. Okay, so here basically you have future manpower estimate. So what you are going to do is you are going to estimate what would be the future manpower. Okay, so basically this can be estimated into the categories such as functional category, number required, and levels at which they are required. Okay, this is how you can categorize the future HR requirement. So when you speak about functional category, that is estimates should show, okay, estimate should be made category wise depending on the task. Okay, so you are going to identify the task, okay, that have to be carried out, and special qualification, training, and experience required. So it serves basically no purpose in anticipating that organization will need 100 personnel during next 5 years unless and until we know whether we need them. Say in the case of sugar factory, mechanics, foremen, engineers, penmen, chemists, and so on. Okay, so whether you really require that particular manpower in those functional categories, okay, that is to be forecasted. Okay, so you forecast that basically the requirement of manpower in terms of functions, in terms of departments, and in terms of divisions. Okay, so in that particular function, how many manpower, how much of manpower is required, what skill, okay, what knowledge, what qualification manpower is required, department wise as well as division wise also you go in for identifying what manpower is required, future estimation of manpower you are going to do. Apart from that, the number required. Okay, so when you speak about the number required, it is simply to know whether we shall be needing mechanics or foremen or engineers, or all of them is not enough. Okay, so here how much in number it is required. So we shall have to estimate number of each category of personals that will be required in future. For example, if I'm going to hire engineers, how many engineers in that particular department or functional area, or maybe in that particular division, how many engineers you're going to hire, what category of engineers you're going to hire, that is to be defined clearly and forecasted clearly. Okay, and then finally you have level at which they are required. Okay, so here simply you estimate the functional categories and number of personals required in such category for the organization. In future it is not enough. Okay, so here what happens is you're simply going to estimate the functional categories and number of personals required in such categories, for which organization in future it may not be enough. Okay, so many a times it happens that you underestimate. Okay, so here we shall have to estimate the various levels at which they will be required. Okay, suppose it is estimated that organization will need 20 engineers in next 5 years. Okay, this alone will not do unless we also estimate how many of them should be junior level, middle level, and senior level. Okay, only then it will be fruitful. So please understand three things here. When you're focusing future HR requirements, first you have to focus in which department they are required, in which functional areas they are required, or basically in which division they are required. That is first thing you have to estimate. Second, how much in number they are required. Okay, for example, if you are hiring engineers, okay, how much in number, 20 engineers, 30 engineers, how much in number they are required for doing that particular task, or in that functional area, or in that particular department. Apart from that, at what level they are required? Are they required at the junior level, senior level, or maybe an expert level? How, what level they are required? So these are the three basic things which are to be understood while forecasting the future HR requirements. Okay. Apart from that, the next process of human resource planning is HR audit and forecasting the HR supply. Okay. So here when you speak about the HR audit and forecasting the HR supply. Okay. So HR audit basically looks into whether whatever requirements of the manpower we have estimated, whether it is really met Okay, what exactly you are going to how you are going to analyze whether the whatever forecasting you have done, it is really meeting requirements, okay, and the needs of the human resource in the organization. So that is one of the human resource audit which can be done. Okay, so here you are going to also analyze the present capacity or capability of the peoples in your organization already who are working in the organization, the knowledge, skill, and ability and expertise of the people who are already working in your organization, that is to be understood. So HR audit is to be done, right? And then finally you go for forecasting the future for HR supply. From where I can get the supply of manpower, what are the different sources through which I can go in for have getting the supply of manpower. Then finally you go for having the job analysis, and then you develop plan for action. Okay, finally you go for either training the present employees in your organization, or either you go for recruiting new people in the organization. Okay, so that is the thing which can be done when it comes to the human resource planning. I hope it is clear. Am I going too fast, students? Yes, students, am I going too fast? Students, reply back, am I going too fast?
No, ma'am.
No,
Okay,
ma'am.
right. I hope you all had your lunch.
No, ma'am.
No, okay. That's the reason the reply is not coming in. Fine, I can understand that. Okay, fine. So here HR audit and forecasting of HR supply. Okay. Basically, if I go into depth with HR audit, okay, HR planning is to audit the existing HR in the organization. So here, what you are going to do is you are going to understand the existing manpower in your organization. So whenever, my dear students, whenever human resource planning is being done in your organization, so that time, first thing what the HR will look in, what is the present capability of employees who are already in the organization. So whatever strategies of organization there or corporate plans are there, whether the present human resource what I'm having, is it enough for me to execute this corporate plans, or should I go for recruiting additional manpower? Whether I can train the existing manpower which is there in the organization already, make them multi-skilled and utilize them in various tasks or various work, okay, or should I go for recruiting the new manpower within the organization? So that is the thing which is being checked. So to understand the present capability of the employees in the organization is called as HR audit. And then finally you go for HR supply forecasting. Once you have analyzed and understood that the present manpower which is there in your organization is not enough, you have to go in for recruiting the new manpower. That time you are going to analyze various sources from where you can get the manpower. Okay, so that's what we say forecasting of HR supply. Okay, and then you go for job analyzing the job and developing the plan for the action, that would be again recruitment and all those things, right? So here when we speak about forecasting the supply of human resource in the organization, it is usually possible to meet at least a part of demand predicted for HR requirement from internal source. Okay, so in this regard you have internal sources as well as external sources from where you will be getting the human resource. So basically you have to go in for the job analysis, understand the description of the job, specification of the job, and then based on that analyze which would be the right source through which you can get the manpower, and okay, efficient and effective manpower. Fine. So that is what we say the focusing of supply of human resource. Okay, then when it comes to development of plans for action, so here, probably human resource planning always is a continuous process. It is not a one-time process. It's a continuous process, right? So here you have to go for developing the plan of action. Now, when I say plan of action, okay, certain times it may happen that in spite of all your efforts, there may be shortage of employees. Okay, in your organization, in spite of all the plans, there may be shortage of employees in your organization. So there are several options which are there to meet the shortage of employees. First option is regularize the part-time workers. Okay. So here, whatever part-time workers are there in your organization, you make them regular in your organization. Okay, you put them on probation period or you put them on the company roles. Okay, make them the regular workers of the organization. Then second option which can be done in case of shortage of employees is making the workers work overtime. Okay, so that time you have to make the workers work overtime, of course, against the payment and within the framework of current legislation. Obviously, when you are taking overtime from the workers, you have to pay double the salary what you are paying, okay, per hour basis. Okay, so that is to be taken care of. So you can go in for taking overtime work from the workers. Then recalling the laid off employees. So employees who are being laid off from the organization. Okay, whenever work is not there in the organization, you lay off your employees. That means you let your employees go. Okay, those employees who are empty and who doesn't have any job, you can call back those employees. That is, they are called as laid off employees. And then you can also go in for using subcontractors. Certain times this happens, my dear students. Whenever you plan, every plan may not be perfect. Certain times, whenever you plan, in spite of all the plans, or maybe if sudden requirement arises, that time you cannot go in detail human resource planning. Okay, so that time you have to make up that particular shortage of employees. So these are the different ways through for making up the shortage of employees. One is regularizing the part-time workers, getting the overtime work done from the present workers, recalling the laid off employees, as well as using subcontractors. That means you take contractors, contract laborers, and get the work done, imparting the desired training. Okay, then you go for training of your employees in a very short time. Then of course promote the deserving current employees. You just go in for promoting or transferring or demoting the employees to fill the vacancies. And then use independent professionals in recruiting less skilled employees. Okay, so you go in for using independent professionals. Okay, consultants will be hiring for you on your behalf. Okay, for in recruiting less skilled employees, right? So in case if surplus, now we have seen the shortage, right? So there may be shortage or there may be surplus of manpower. You have planned, everything is going perfect, and suddenly there is a diversion in the task, and suddenly you have surplus of manpower who will not be having any work. So it is often to be observed basically that in times of economical recession or because of economical or technological constraints, okay, it may be unavoidable not to do away with surplus manpower. So basically, several options are available to employ this particular surplus manpower. Okay, what you can do is either you can go for early retirement or voluntary retirement schemes, VRS schemes. So whoever are senior employees who doesn't have any work in the organization, or maybe in long term they are not required, at that time you can go for early retirement or voluntary retirement schemes for your employees, or you can go in for laying off the employees. Okay, so basically the lower level employee management, wherein the employees production is not there, or maybe some new technology has come in and you're going to recruit new people for that particular working on that particular technology. Present people are not capable enough to work on that particular technology, so that time whatever people who are working on the old machines become very much like a surplus labor. So that time you can lay off them. Okay, just lay off them for some time, and then afterwards you can recruit back, or else you can go for retrenchment and termination of employees, terminate few employees, retrench few employees. Apart from that, you can go for demotions. Okay, and probably you can leave certain time for not filling the positions, vacant positions in your organization. Okay, which may arise due to resignation, retirement, and so on. So if there are vacancies arising due to resignation, retirement, you just leave it vacant for some time, and then later on, if it is required, you can go for recruiting for those positions. So these are the various plans which can be developed, okay, based on the actions when it comes to shortage of manpower or surplus of manpower. So, however, in our country, there are many legal constraints, okay, in retrenching or layoff of the employees. Okay, suddenly you cannot retrench or suddenly you cannot lay off the employees. So employer will therefore have to observe necessary formalities before taking any step. So trade unions basically resist this retrenchment and layoff. Okay, uh, hence there should be proper human resource planning as to enable the organization to run smoothly. So this particular surplus should be always avoided when it comes to human resource planning. Shortage can be handled, but surplus again it becomes a big problem if the unions are there in the organization. So experience has revealed that it is always better if it is feasible to procure the desired manpower from within the organization, even if it involves some expenditure on training and development of the personals. Okay, so it creates a sense of belongingness towards the organization among the workers, and promotional opportunities serve the purpose of the potential incentives and make personals feel involved in the affairs of the organization. Okay, so you have to utilize the manpower in an organization to the fullest extent, or give them better opportunities by training and development on the new technologies, new processes, whatever happens in the organization. If that is being done, you'll not be having any problem when it comes to human resource planning. Okay, now moving on to the next part of the human resource planning, that is techniques of forecasting demand for employees. Okay, so here in the process, if you could see, one particular point is mentioned, that is forecasting the demand for employees. Okay, so here if you could see in the process of manpower, okay, forecasting future HR requirement. Future HR requirement is nothing but forecasting the demand for employees. Okay, and then you go for forecasting the supply of supply for employees. Okay, so demand for employees, there are two methods to forecast the demand for employees. One is qualitative method and one is quantitative method. So in qualitative method, you have expert committee estimate. Okay, in that you have Delphi technique, nominal group technique, and averaging. These are the three techniques which are used in qualitative method. Okay, and then second method in qualitative is sales force estimate, managerial judgment, and unit demand forecasting. Okay, so this is called qualitative method because there is no calculations here. Entirely, it is based on the opinions of the experts, opinions of the groups, opinions of the sales force, or maybe the judgment of managers, or maybe unit demand forecasting. Okay, so all this is qualitative, it cannot be measured. Okay, quantitative method is nothing but which can be measured. Okay, so in quantitative methods, you have trend analysis, you have simulation methods, workload analysis, okay, Maslow analysis, ratio analysis, scatter plots. Okay, Stochastic what stochastic method, and computerized system. These are various quantitative methods. Here there are statistical calculations based on which you have the analysis which is being done. Okay, and demand forecasting which is being done for employees. So we'll just look into various methods. Okay, you need not go in for calculations of these methods. You have to just understand the definitions of the various methods. Okay, when it comes to the techniques of forecasting the human resource. Okay, so first method, if you could see here, my dear students, the that is the expert estimate. So here what happens is, based on the expertise or experience and guts and guesses and intuition, personal assessment of available economic and labor force indicators, an expert or a panel of experts, okay, a panel of experts can provide organization with estimates of HR requirements for future. Okay, so estimates from experts may be combined in several ways, probably from Delphi technique. So Delphi technique is nothing but individual's ability has limitations. So experts from various fields, they come together, okay, and they estimate the requirement of future manpower. So in order to overcome the limitations, organizations also use Delphi technique, which was originally developed by the Rand Corporation. So as per this technique, estimates are sought from number of individuals in an interactive way or interactive manner. Estimates are then revised by each individuals based on knowledge of other individuals, the individual estimate, and this way final estimation is worked out, which is expected to be more accurate as compared to single expert estimate. So various experts come together, interact with the individuals in the organization, and then interact with each other, and finally they come down to a single expert estimate of manpower. Okay, that is Delphi technique. Again, you have nominal group technique. It is nothing but a method of forecasting HR requirements, right? So in this, after all, individuals have generated estimates, there is a group brainstorming session. Okay. So once the estimations are developed by each individuals, by experts, there is a group brainstorming session which involves all the individuals who have generally estimated, interact with each other, okay, and then finally come down to a mutual decision. Okay, every individual is being given equal opportunity to express their opinion, okay, express their questions, and then eliminate dominations from it eliminates domination from the individuals in the group decision making. So this is basically a group decision making. And then you have averaging. It is nothing but it involves a simple averaging of forecast made by individual experts. Okay. So this method has the advantage of taking into consideration diverse viewpoints. They take all the viewpoints of all the experts, and then finally they average down to certain points, and based on that they try to estimate the manpower requirement. Okay. The main shortcoming of this method is extreme views are marked when averaged. Okay. So extreme views may not be taken into consideration. In the sense, extreme views are not considered. Okay. They come down to the average viewpoint. Then you have Salesforce estimate. Salesforce estimate, particularly, this is a method which is usually used when new products are introduced by the organization. So in it, sales personnel estimate number of employees required based on the estimates of the demand of the product. Okay. Based on the demand of the product, they estimate what are the number of manpower required to produce that particular product. So that is nothing but Salesforce estimate. Okay. Then you have managerial judgment and unit demand forecasting, which we'll be looking into the next class. Till here, is it understood, students? Any doubts till here? Any doubts till here, students? Namrata Jain, any doubts? Pooja More, Naina, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great then. Right. So next part of it will be dealing in the next. Thank you very much.